course one doesn't and wouldn't want to go through all kinds of experiences. What is very important is being a sensitive, empathetic person who's able to understand other people's experiences and to be very open, flexible, and talk to a lot of people and observe and watch a lot of people. That would be able to, that would give you a lot of help as well.
First of all, I'll like to congratulate you and your team on running such a great initiative.
Thank you.
The problem which I have faced is sometimes we send our stories via email, but it's not always that we get an acknowledgement back on our mails. So this is not something I'm not criticizing it.
No, I understand.
It is a huge initiative. Yeah.
You would be very. That you can get panicky over this if you don't get acknowledgement, because it's a measure of your passion for what you've written and sent across. Now, I will tell you that this is a manual process, the sending back the acknowledgement when you send in a mail. And we've deliberately kept it a manual process rather than as soon as your mail falls in and sending back your mail. So over the last 2-3 days is when, I don't know why everybody loves pushing deadlines madly, crazily, lunatically. So last 2-3 days we get thousands of entries. So there's no way that our team can deal with that. So they do acknowledge, but it takes time. And if some have been left out in between, if people complain about it, then I make sure that we go through and then again assure people that the entry is with us. Try to do that.
Yeah, good evening, Vinita. I am Arpan. I have a question that you are...
Sarkar.
Yeah, I am Arpan Sarkar. You are planning a workshop for all the 11 winners in Goa. So
Yes.
why don't you plan for others as well?
I would love to. Again, we obviously the organization doesn't want to spend more than it already is spending. I am desperately looking for sponsors, trying to tell people, come and help us out for this. I wanted to do a mid-session thing in Diu because there was this Diu festival happening and they were inviting us and saying, come across, bring 2 of your authors, and we'll pay for them, and you also come and do a session here. And I said, no, I want to bring my winners and do a camp there with the authors. Then it helps me, not doing a session on stage. We looked around and desperately looked around for sponsors. We couldn't find any for the mid-year. But towards the end of the year we might, and then we'll see if we can take more people.
The common perception is that, people are not reading enough books. And books are basically out of fashion, and we're trying to kind of make the reading habit survive. So with Write India, you've been promoting it across bookstores, meeting a lot of people. So you think that's true, or what has your personal experience been?
It's been very surprising, and because obviously all of us hear this, that the reading habit is out. But I must say, Anu, that while this Write India thing has been going on, the project, maybe it is the kind of people who are attracted to Write India, because the project is such, it is all about writing and reading. Hi, Tuhin Sinha is with us, right there. Tuhin, why don't you come up and join us here? But now I find that a lot of people are into reading a lot. They do read, and the youngsters again, and like I said, this entire popular fiction thing has brought in the reading habit for a lot of people who never read a single book. So now they have this easy English, and the literary crowd can look down upon it and say that, ye bhi koi English hai, what kind of a writing is this and all. But the fact is that a lot of people who are not readers at all are readers today, and that is very encouraging.
Hi, right here. Okay. A quick question for you. Since this is being branded nationwide, a friend of mine had written into Write India, but she happened to be an NRI and she was never acknowledged. So why are you excluding NRIs, though they're Indian?
If she was not acknowledged, I offer her my apologies because she should have been. We have got inquiries and we have replied to most of them. Maybe some got missed out. And I would like you to check with her who the person is and please write in to the person. We thought, one, the gift that we were giving out, the award we are giving out. Second, the camp that we are organizing. we thought we would get into a lot of complications if we allowed people sitting in the US, sitting in Australia, UK to participate, and if they were the winners, it would be very difficult for us to get them across or reach across the award to them. Maybe it was unfair, and definitely I'd like to look at that because we have got a lot of inquiries.
Because it excludes a lot of good writers.
It does. It does. And also I did discuss it with marketing, and there's a marketing guy sitting here, you can hit him if you like. Yeah, so we discussed it.
Finally, your sponsors, I'll take this contest for you. I'll have no problem.
So we did discuss it with marketing, and marketing felt that we've called it Right India. So maybe we should not have NRIs, or whatever the logic of that, but that's the reason I was given.
Okay, last two questions. One over here.
And the last one there.
I am Srinivas Reddy from Hyderabad.
My favorite city.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, amongst the thousands of entries you've got, most of them are contemporary stories, or are there any retrospective stories which have come in, and do retrospective stories stand a chance in case they are well written of being a winner?
You know, all kinds of stories, every kind of a story that comes to us stands a chance at being a winner. It doesn't matter whether it is contemporary, retrospective, or like Amish's stories were all based in, like, you know, in the 17th century. So the criteria, like I told you, I read out the criteria, I don't know if you were here then. It's basically, a story has to be well written, it has to remain in the mind, it has to be well crafted, and a tale well told is what matters really. More than anything else. It doesn't matter in which period it is. In fact, if you were to write something which is completely different from what the others are writing based on a passage, it would definitely attract attention. Because it means that you have that different perspective that I spoke about. We have another writer and a poet sitting with us here, Nilofer Karanboy, and Tuhin Sinha has just joined us.
Hi Vinita, first of all I'd like to thank you for this initiative, for you and your entire team. Thanks to you for giving us a platform. I don't care if I win or not, but at least I'm getting a better field to show my fight. And as you said, I hope you get sponsors, and I'm really looking forward to the
Thank you
workshops.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And apart from this, I'd like to ask a personal question. I think that...
Personal to you or to me?
Personal for everybody, for as well. I think that perseverance is a big factor that is important to continue writing. What happens to me is I start writing and I have a big stack of stories that are incomplete. What should I do to be persevere and keep on writing? I think that might happen to other people as well. We have a lot of emotions.
It happens to me. I've got a lot of short stories, incomplete short stories in my laptop. It happens to a lot of people, but you have to figure out for yourself what will work best for you. Maybe Right India will help you because you have a deadline. Some people work best against deadlines. So you write a story, but you know that even if you don't finish it, nobody's going to beat you about it. So if you actually get yourself a contract with a publisher, or you start writing for Right India and you have a deadline to work to, that might help you. And if not that, you have to figure out.
Can we have two more questions? I see two desperate hands coming up.
20 more questions.
Oh, lovely. Great.
Wait, I have to go into the laptop.
Hello, my name is Lakshmi. I wanted to know all the stories that you selected. You had talked about a hook which will attract the reader. What about the slice of life kind of stories which also find a resonating with the reader that, yeah, this happens to me also.
But that is the hook then. That's the hook. Because when you are able to, I spoke about being able to relate. When you are able to relate to a story, to a situation, that's amazing. Because when you find yourself there and you say, yes, this happens to me too, that's a great feeling. That's good.
I am Niti Banga, and I'm teaching at NIF Delhi. So
Also one of our winners.
Yeah. So I wanted to just say that I have a literary club with a lot of enthusiastic students into poetry and writing. So if in future ever possible, we would love to have some workshop in our college also. Because even with Dipankar, I wanted to talk that because it's really...
Would love to.
Yeah.
A lot of colleges have been approaching us for workshops and to come and talk there, but nobody is willing to sponsor us. So
We are also looking for sponsors because
Yeah.
under the Ministry of Textiles,
Yes.
so we don't have our funding.
Yeah.
But we can work it out with something.
yes. No, but yeah, it's okay. We'll come anyway to yours. Okay. To a Winners Institute.
Great. Oh, we have some questions left. Okay. I think it's my request we'll take the last three of them. Okay, last three of them, that's it.
My name is Zahid. I want to know that with the success of storytelling, are we going to have a poem writing contest also?
Yes, I would really love to, and I did speak to again marketing about it. Kill this guy. So he's only the representative. But they told me that no poetry yet because poetry may not work. But I don't believe that at all. I think poetry would work immensely, immensely, and I would certainly want to. In fact, I even thought that. If they don't want to back it, if marketing doesn't want to back it and sales doesn't want to back it right now, I could do it just like, let's just do it editorially. Editorially we could work on. We thought of that, yes. And I really wanted to, but then, like I said, I was so overwhelmed by Right India, all of us, our entire team, that we just didn't have the time for that. We would have loved to have done that.
I will include a poem in my story.
Sorry?
I have included a poem in my story.
Okay, you have. Very good. That's nice.
Hi.
Yes, where's this? Hi.
Hi, I'm Kiran. And it's not really a question, it's sharing of a thought. Yesterday only a few of my friends and I was discussing that none of your stories has been published so far. So is it possible for you, or is it a feasible idea if you publish a few stories so that we have a vague idea of like what kind of stories are, what is your criteria?
Yes, yeah. That's something that a lot of people have blamed us with. They have said that we should. A lot of people have been blaming us about this and want to read, and I can totally understand the need to read because you want to be able to figure out how good the good stories, the winning stories are. But again, there have been two thoughts on this. And I've been discussing it with brand and with marketing, and we thought about it, and then we thought if we give some of the winning stories right now, one, they have to be published at the end of the year in a book. So it takes away the charm of the first published book of winning stories, winning entries. And then if I give, say, I don't give the first 10, but I give the 11th to the 20th, that doesn't make any sense at all. So that's the reason we haven't, which is why we thought of this workshop idea. That if you could go there, supposing we start a workshop here, you come to us with your story, we go through it and tell you what we found lacking in the story, or why it is not as good as the stories that were taken in the first 10. So you get some feedback, because I understand the need for that feedback.
Yeah. Hi, I've got a big question basically. If I were to, let's say, classify the popular fiction authors and the literary authors, is there a particular reason why you have got more popular fiction authors associated with Right India?
Yeah, yes, there is. To attract more people to Right India. Because the literary writers, poor guys, they write and then they sit in bookshops and not too many people read them. It's the popular authors who get sold the most and who have maximum number of readers. So for the first Right India needed to attract people's attention. We needed to make a noise and get people to know that there's an entity called Right India. So that's the reason. Plus I have a lot of friends who are popular fiction writers. Yes. And Tuheen has been a big support, a very big support. One of the first ones who tied up with us for Right India, without even asking what's in it for me. Not at all, not even once. Totally supported. And it's the last day of his contest as Author of the Month for Right India today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for this wonderful, mesmerizing, talk that you gave us. May we request Tuheen to give us a few words on what he thinks about Right India and how has he...
Absolutely. Yeah.
We've already had Vinita standing for almost 2.5 hours. Probably should give us some rest and,